Hello, this is my FL Studio tutorial. It's gonna be a fast one. I'm gonna show you some tips and tricks and tips for mixing and stuff. Okay? You can change wallpaper, the one that is shown here, by going into View, Background, Set Image Wallpaper, and you can download your own wallpaper, and I've picked one there, so open, and it looks better. You can clean up the toolbar by right-clicking and pushing Edit, and then dragging these fucking things down here. Most of these I don't use, so I keep it like this, very clean and simple. You can edit your plugin database by opening up the browser, right-clicking and pushing Windows Shell menu, open, and then you can edit the stuff that is in the effects and the generators folder. Don't touch anything in the installed folder. To add a plugin back to your plugin picker, you can open up the plugin and push add plugin to database, and then it ends up in the folder that you've selected in your browser. You can group channels by selecting them and pushing Alt G and whatever instruments maybe and you got the groups here. When you made a drum pattern, you can go into the graph editor and not do fucking shit. Apparently you need to have the right channel selected. You open the graph editor and you can change the velocity of individual notes. Or you could open the pattern and open up the plugin, what's it called, piano roll, and change the velocity down here. Great! Woo! In the channel rack you can open up a sample and change stuff here out to make it shorter. It didn't change much. That's disappointing. Fuck my life. These knobs can change the stuff with the sample. When you want to clean up your project, you can go up to Tools, Macros, and select Unused Channels. And all your unused channels will be selected. You can then delete the channels if you want to by pushing Alt and Delete. Moving on to the playlist, you can create groups by left-clicking here and just dragging up, and it's gonna be grouped with the above track. Or you can just right-click and click Group with above track. By default, the picker panel is shown on the left side. You can go up here and picker panel show on right side, and it ends up on the right side. I think it looks better like this. Yeah. In the picker panel here, you can go to this fucking thing and hold left click and drag up and down, and you change the size of them. You can change the grid color going up here, view, grid color, and well, I think this is what mine are set to. I think it looks better than the default one. You can right click and push auto color group, and everything that is grouped with that above track will be colored the same color. In the playlist, you can move a track up and down by holding shift and using scroll wheel to scroll up and down. You can merge two patterns by selecting them and going up here, edit, merge pattern clips. Now they're one. By adding a plugin directly onto a playlist track, it gets linked to a mixer insert. And if you change, the fuck, all these goddamn windows, it's the fucking... If you then change the color of either the track or the channel or whatever, any of those three, it changes the color of there and the insert, mixer insert as well. So they get linked. In the piano roll, you can go up here, click helpers, scale highlighting, and pick a scale to get those notes highlighted. It helps when you work on your... In Omnisphere 2, for example, you have multiple outputs in that plugin, and in the piano roll you choose the output up here, the colors. So output number 2 would be there and output 3 would be there. In the piano roll you can push Control and Q, and the notes will be quantized, meaning they move to the grid. You can also do it up here, Tools, Quantize. You can select faster by holding Control and left clicking and dragging. And then when you have them selected, you can push Control and up arrow or down arrow to move them one octave up or down. I have been playing way too much Rocket League. When you selected some notes, you can push Alt and U. No. That's not it. Control U, please. Yeah, and you chop them up. Great. Moving on to the mixer. To make the inserts more colorful, you can go up here, view, and colorful mixer, and change that to high so the colors become more colorful. You can move the track inspector, this thing, by going up here, view, and track inspector on left side. I prefer it on the left side. You can move inserts by holding shift and scrolling with your mouse wheel. To create groups, you can right click on an insert and push separator, and that will create a separator. This fucking thing right between them, so that these are inserts and they are routed to bus channels. These are bus channels and they're basically just inserts that other inserts has been routed to. You can route by selecting an insert and going down here, right clicking and route to this track only. Now it is routed to this track only. A good way of creating a sidechain effect is to add a click sound, a very short clicks, a short sound like this, like a click, and that insert in the mixer is routed to my sidechain send or whatever. There I put a fruity limiter. In the fruity limiter you go into the compressor and you choose the insert that's been sidechained to that. You see, looking down here, it goes over here, but there's no sound coming in here. It's just, fuck it. Dude, you shouldn't take this tutorial seriously. Okay, I know it sucks, but maybe you learned something. Or not. Probably not. To create an automation clip for a third-party plugin, you move a dial or a knob or whatever, go up to Tools, Last Tweaked, and Create Automation Clip. When you edit an automation clip, you can go up here, push Step, and now you can draw inside the automation clip. That's cool. I didn't know that until recently. Okay, don't judge! One automation clip can control multiple things, and if you want to do that, you can right-click a control and link to controller, choose the automation clip, and accept. And now that fucking thing is, yeah, it's moving. If you want to do that with a third-party plugin, you can also do it by going up to Tools, Last Tweaked, and push Link to Controller from there. A good way of staying organized in the playlist is by putting the automation clips underneath the patterns that are being automated. You want to keep things organized and colored, so if a lead is green in the channel, it should be green in the playlist and green in the fucking mixer, and the bus also green, so consistency. There's also this thing called event automation, and you go in here, Last Tweaked, edit events, and you can change things in the event editor, and it's going to be like stuck to that individual pattern. Useful keyboard shortcuts would be Control-Alt-C, so you can undo multiple things. Just holding Control and left clicking and you can select multiple things. You can also hold Shift and left click and you will copy things. In the piano roll you can also hold Control-Shift and select or deselect individual notes. It's very good to learn keyboard shortcuts using the Control button and the Shift button. Okay. To improve efficiency when it's time to mix, I recommend creating a template where everything is like already colored and set up, routed in the mixer, because it's like, it makes things much faster and easier. When you mix, things should not be clipping. Am I pro now? I mean, fuck. The point is to have headroom to your master. It shouldn't be peaking up to 0. You should be around -3 or -6. That's what they say. When mixing, you want to put a high-pass filter on pretty much everything that doesn't need bass frequencies. So a hi-hat, for example, doesn't need bass frequencies. So I put a high-pass filter on that to create room for the bass and the kick drum. You should have no effects on the master track while mixing. In FL Studio, by moving this knob to the right, I believe you put your mix in mono, and it's recommended to do that because that helps you get the volumes and the frequency balance right. So mix in mono, because if you can make it sound good in mono, you're gonna make it sound great in stereo. Or something. Or maybe not. It's a good idea to use a reference track and put the reference track inside of your project so you can always compare your mix to a professionally made song. Yeah. Choose your sounds with care, because if you pick shitty sounds, you get a shitty mix, even if you're really good. Shitty sound, shitty mix. Shitty life, shitty face, shitty hands, shit. Should you put the EQ before the compressor, or the EQ before the compressor, or the EQ before the compressor, or the EQ before the compressor? I think most people will agree that you should put the EQ before the compressor. You want to put a subtractive EQ. I think it's called subtractive EQ before the compressor, and then a additive EQ after the compressor. I'm not gonna talk one bit about mastering because I am a noob. Some recommended YouTube channels would be In the Mix and Firewalk. I will also leave a link in the description to a video that I think you should watch if you want to put your music on Spotify, because you wanna have a proper loudness to it, so it doesn't get like loudness penalty is what they call it. Sorry if I wasted your time. Have a good life, and I'll see you in another video, perhaps, that nobody is ever going to watch. Wibbity video! Wow!